Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. We are here today for our webinar, Employment Opportunities in Canada Beyond the Big Cities, Discover Thunder Bay, Ontario. My name is Ligia Chiari. I am a manager with Prearrival Services at JVS Toronto and Canada Infonet. Before we start, I would like to do a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. So before we start, just a few housekeeping rules, and then I'll introduce you to Emily, who is our speaker today. Hi, Emily. Thank you for being here. The webinar is being recorded, and it's approximately 1 hour. All participants will be muted, but you're free to ask your questions on the Q&A on the questions box. There will be a Q&A session in the end of the webinar where Emily will be answering your questions. Please type your questions in, not the chat window, sorry, in the questions window in the GoToWebinar option. And please take time to complete the post-webinar survey that you receive. The recording will be shared with your employment specialist. And last but not least, we are hosting from home, so please bear with us if we have any technical difficulties. We appreciate your patience. A few words on Canada Infonet. Canada Infonet is a pre-arrival employment acceleration and mentorship program. It is a free national 8-week program delivered by JVS Toronto with other industry partners. We have served over 8,000 English and or French-speaking immigrating professionals since 2016. At Canada Infonet, we have dedicated employment specialists that support professionals arriving in the next 12 months with employment services such as employment preparation and job search tools, connection to Canadian Mentor online, resume and cover letter for Canada, Canadian workplace culture and expectations for success at work, employer webinars, online job matching platform, access to job postings, virtual fairs, and soft skills such as customer service and business writing. If you're not yet a client, please register with us. And if you are and you want to, you have not yet responded, connect with your employment specialist, respond to their emails, and make sure that you take advantage of this program. Okay, so I will introduce you to our guest speaker today, who is Emily. Emily is a workforce development officer at Thunder Bay Community Economic Development Commission. She was born in Northern Ontario and grew up in Thunder Bay. Emily's role is builds on a 10-year career dedicated to supporting newcomers arriving in Thunder Bay. She spent 5 years coordinating the resettlement of refugees to Thunder Bay through the WUSC Student Refugee Program at Lakehead University. In 2018, she worked as the International and Community Matchmaker with Northern Policy Institute, focusing on the employment needs of temporary residents in Northern Ontario. Emily loves working with newcomers to Canada and is excited to help employers and international job seekers connect. She currently oversees the rural and northern immigration pilot for Thunder Bay. Welcome, Emily, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
So before Emily starts her presentation, we're going to show a quick video about Thunder Bay to introduce the city to you. Okay, so I'm very excited to hear Emily, and the floor is all yours now, Emily. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Just checking with you to make sure that you can see the presentation.
Yes, we can see it.
Sounds good. Well, good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. I'm joining you from Thunder Bay, and I'm very excited to speak with you about, in my opinion, the best city in Canada, my hometown, Thunder Bay. So a little bit about me. Thank you for the introduction. I was born in Northern Ontario and I grew up in Thunder Bay. And I actually left when I was 16 years old. Um, I actually immigrated to the USA with my family. And it didn't take long for me to find my way back to Thunder Bay. I left the US and came back to Canada. And when it was time for me to start my family, I decided to move back to Thunder Bay. I finished my education at Lakehead University here in the city, in social work. And as my bio said, that's when I got involved with working with newcomers. Um, I'm so happy that I came back to Thunder Bay. I live here with my 3 children who are featured here on this slide and my dog. Um, and the quality of life that we enjoy here is just fantastic. And I love to share our experience and talk about the potential for people to move here and have that same kind of lifestyle. So I'm really excited to share this presentation with you today. So where is Thunder Bay? So we are a city that's located on Lake Superior, which is the largest body of fresh water. We're in northwestern Ontario, so you can see here we're 1,400 kilometers northwest of Toronto, which is probably more of the area that you may be familiar with. So it's quite a distance away. However, we do have an international airport here in Thunder Bay that allows us to very easily connect to all of the other major cities in Canada, as well as the US, and then from there, international flights elsewhere. So it's very easy to access Thunder Bay from any place in Canada or the US. And it's very easy to leave Thunder Bay to travel and visit family in other parts of Canada or elsewhere in the world. We're the hub of northwestern Ontario. There's a smattering of communities that are around our region, but we're the largest city in this part of Ontario. We are a very friendly city, very down-to-earth community, and we offer a really ideal place to live, work, and do business. So here's some of the reasons why I like to highlight Thunder Bay. Thunder Bay, in terms of healthcare, has a reputation as a medical services hub. So you can choose from one of the several healthcare centers that provide services covered by our Ontario health insurance plan. And you can also make use of many walk-in clinics between doctor's visits. We have a really large hospital here. We have both a university and a college, as well as the Northern Ontario Medical School. And we also have over 60 elementary and high schools, which offer academic tracks in both English and French. Extracurricular activities take place at the city's sports facilities and arts facilities. So it's a very popular destination for post-secondary education, and I'll be discussing a little bit more about that later on in the presentation. In terms of affordability, property in Thunder Bay is more affordable than other cities in Ontario. The cost of groceries, shopping, and dining out are also more reasonable. There's several settlement agencies in Thunder Bay, as well as many cultural and religious groups. The government-funded settlement service providers are there to support newcomers once they arrive. And you might use those services to help you with your professional development, employment connections, learn more about the local area, or improve language skills. Additionally, all world religions are respected here, and opportunities to practice different religions, faiths, and beliefs are provided. We have Christian churches in our region, as well as Jewish, Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist, and Sikh, among many others. The lifestyle in Thunder Bay is, we're a very diverse population, which might be appealing to many newcomers from around the world. Our city has a modern feel. It offers plenty of shopping, creative arts events, and if the outdoors appeal to you, you might be drawn to sailing, fishing, hiking, snowmobiling. All of these types of activities are in Thunder Bay, and I'll highlight some of those a little bit later as well. For me, my favorite feature about Thunder Bay is the work-life balance. So as a mom of 3 kids, I can get anywhere in town within 15 to 20 minutes. This photo here is what our rush hour traffic looks like. So as you can see, it's always flowing, it's always moving. There are not a lot of cars on the road. You really can get where you need to go without having to worry about a long commute to jobs that are outside of the community. So at the end of the day, my time is my time, which I really like. So for recreation, there's a lot to do in Thunder Bay. Obviously, Thunder Bay gets featured a lot as a very outdoorsy community, and I myself am not a very outdoorsy person, yet I still really love living here for the recreational activities. You're going to see in the winter we have skiing hills, for snowboarding, skiing, and tubing. We have lots of ice rinks. There's plenty of municipally funded ice rinks for people to practice skating on or play hockey. We have lots of bike lanes for riding around, and we also have groups that do forest biking, which is a really neat kind of activity. We have tons of sports teams you can enjoy for entertainment or to play yourself. And so some of these are real photos from Thunder Bay. This is an example of one of the ski hills that's really popular in Thunder Bay, Loch Lomond. And then obviously there's lots of camping and hiking and exploring the outdoors here recreationally. For entertainment, we have a large movie theater that has, 10 or 12 different theaters inside of it. That's pretty popular in Thunder Bay. We also have a shopping mall as well as a really popular downtown local core that has a lot of local shops for entertainment or retail. These photos here, this one in the top left, is a picture of our Thunder Bay Community Auditorium. So it's a really large establishment that hosts our Thunder Bay Symphony. You can see them featured down below, as well as different plays or musical guests, things like that. And on the right-hand side, you'll see this is our really large hockey arena where our competitive sports league plays. So people really enjoy going here to watch the game. It's a really fun experience to go there. And we also have a lot of smaller arenas too for the kids to play hockey in, but this is quite a large one. Down in the right-hand corner, this is just this is what our shopping mall entrance looks like. Thunder Bay is an amazing place to raise kids. So if you're somebody who has children, this is definitely a place that you're going to want to check out. No matter the season, there is always something family friendly to do in Thunder Bay, with plenty of places for kids to explore outside. And there is a lot of city funded recreational programming for kids. Kids in Thunder Bay are never bored. So there's competitive leagues in hockey, gymnastics, diving, swimming, martial arts, soccer, and football. Competitive and just for fun, recreation. We have fantastic indoor and outdoor facilities for kids. And Thunder Bay also offers exceptional programming in music, art, and children's theater. These 4 photos here are actually of my son learning to drive a boat, exploring one of the nature hikes that they have set up for kids here. There's some local beaches where the kids can go swimming, and this is our favorite little river that we like to take our dog to go for a swim in the summers and go hiking through there. Thunder Bay has many grocery stores. You know, we have a couple of different chain grocery stores, Superstore, several Walmarts, Sobeys, things like that. So there's many places to purchase groceries. You can get any food that you're used to cooking, you can find it in Thunder Bay. We also have several specialty grocery stores featuring, you know, food in South Asian and Asian dishes, lots of different spices and things like that. So many of the newcomers are have actually started businesses and created new retail establishments to purchase the products that they want to find from home. So that's really cool. And you can find that all in Thunder Bay. In terms of the cost of living, there's a couple of things that I wanted to highlight for you, just so that you can see kind of what it costs here. So I did a little bit of a comparison between Thunder Bay and Toronto, and you can see that affordability is something that we relish here in Thunder Bay. We've got lower rental and lower purchase prices on homes. I gave an example here of Lakehead University's tuition fees compared to Toronto for a sample engineering program, a 4-year engineering program. That would be a per year price. Lower electricity prices, and then also lower childcare costs. This house here, this 3-bedroom house, I have it featured here on the next slide. This is a house that was posted for sale this week. Beautiful home, residential neighborhood, on the bus route. I mean, look at that yard. You get so much space. You can see it looks like the kids built a snow fort in the backyard. Beautiful patio, $391,000. Very affordable for the wages that people in Thunder Bay live on. So some other information that I thought you might be interested in. So Thunder Bay actually, we have a municipally owned telecommunications company called T-Baytel, which offers fiber internet. They also offer other services, data, phone service, wireless, internet, digital TV, and security services. It's the only provider in town that delivers fiber connections to homes. And they also offer free Wi-Fi at many of like the hotspots around Thunder Bay and the region, so you can connect for free to Wi-Fi in many of the popular spots around town. Thunder Bay operates its own transit services. It uses conventional buses. We don't have any underground or any other type of service. It's just conventional buses. And the peak routes have a frequency of about 30 minutes between stops. Some busy routes have a frequency of 15 minutes during rush hour. So depending on the time of day, you may get a more frequent service than other parts of the day. And obviously that revolves around typical working hours and things like that. Many of the routes interline, so it can take you across the city without having to change buses, but they do give you transfer tickets, which are good for up to 1 hour. And you can switch between buses or, you know, go purchase your groceries and get back on the bus without having to make another purchase. And they also offer monthly passes and things like that. In terms of tax credits, we do have a Northern Energy tax credit for living in Thunder Bay to help offset the cost of energy expenses for living in Northern Ontario. So Thunder Bay is one of the residential areas that's included in that Northern Ontario tax credit, which is applicable to anyone who owns a home or is renting a home in Thunder Bay. So a little bit about the key economic sectors here. Thunder Bay is a diverse and modern economy. It has endless natural resources, as you can see from the video. And we also have a real entrepreneurial spirit here with a lot of small and medium-sized enterprises that come up. Many newcomers find that starting a business is the right pathway for them. And I actually wanted to feature, before I get into the details of these sectors, I wanted to feature a little video for you about a man who lives here named Harpreet. He's an entrepreneur who's been in Thunder Bay for probably about 15 years now. And he owns a couple of businesses. He's very successful, very lovely man. And he's also quite an excellent mentor to many of the international students that come here. So I wanted to share that video for you to see. So just a quick little video there about Harpreet. He's a very successful business owner here in town who started a restaurant, owns a cleaning business, and also is the assistant general manager at one of our hotels and runs that hotel. Very successful. So research and innovation are revitalizing our traditional forestry and mining industries, while science and technology are creating high growth opportunities in health and education sectors. As I mentioned before, the high levels of creativity and innovation among local entrepreneurs has also resulted in small business clusters and the emergence of thriving new sectors in local food, agriculture, and tourism. Thunder Bay really supports entrepreneurs. Like, we have a wonderful program at the Community Economic Development Commission where I work, an entrepreneur center that helps to guide local entrepreneurs in getting started with their businesses. And it's really amazing to see all of the amazing businesses that have come up over the past few years. Thunder Bay is the hub of Northern Ontario's aerospace industry, with companies involved in aviation, manufacturing, maintenance, transportation, and software development. The City of Thunder Bay, along with the Thunder Bay International Airport, are service hubs for northern communities and the mining sector. An abundance of local expertise with a strong knowledge base built over many years exists to fully support the aerospace sector. We also have aerospace manufacturing engineering, excuse me, in for people to train in our college. So there's a direct connection between the industries in Thunder Bay and the programs that people can study at Confederation College. The wood products manufacturing industry is another really large one in Thunder Bay, which includes sawmills, veneer mills, and structural board and lumber plants. So they produce construction materials and specialty wood products. Thunder Bay has a strong, innovative health sciences sector, including the local medical school, DNA labs, and a renowned research institute that operates out of the hospital. Thunder Bay's information and communications technology sector is a dynamic cluster of businesses that includes telecommunications, film, television, technology, digital, and computer service organizations. Thunder Bay is currently home to over 177 manufacturing businesses, which makes up just over 5% of our labor force. Internationally recognized companies such as Bombardier and Resolute Forest Products have a proud history of manufacturing in Thunder Bay. As a regional exploration hub, mining is a very large sector here. Approximately 850 residents work at the mines, but over 400 Thunder Bay mine service and supply companies support the mining industry here. So a lot of the businesses in Thunder Bay and companies in Thunder Bay work in relationship with the mines to support them. There are over 20 primary care clinics in Thunder Bay for healthcare and 2 hospitals. We have Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Center and St. Joseph's Hospital. The Thunder Bay Regional is an acute care hospital, and St. Joseph's Hospital is a complex care, rehab, and palliative care hospital. Teaching, research, advanced practice, and continuing professional development opportunities for physicians and medical professionals are available. And I had mentioned before, there's a lot of tourism in Thunder Bay, and there's a lot of industry related to tourism. Excuse me, I'm just going to take a little sip here. So I pulled some job postings of sample jobs that you might see being recruited in Thunder Bay. So we've got truck drivers. Truck drivers are very in demand in Thunder Bay. A business development representative, that's with an insurance company, so anybody with sales or business background, client relationships would be suited for a job like that. An AS400 developer, that's a software development and technology position, so if you have a background in that, there's opportunities there. A power line technician would be somebody who constructs, operates, and maintains or repairs overhead or underground electrical transmission and distribution systems. So essentially our grid, our electricity grid. Instrumentation technicians can be found in the manufacturing industry. They test, maintain, and repair electronic, mechanical, or pneumatic systems and instruments. So engineering background, well suited to instrumentation technicians. That position is posted with North American Palladium, which is a big mining operation. Clinical resource coordinator would be suited to somebody who has an extensive healthcare background, nursing degree, nursing experience, and experience working on a clinical team. And then an electrician is an electrician. So those are some of the jobs that have been posted this week. I've put down here, I hope you can see it, this website. It's NSWPB. That is the North Superior Workforce Planning Board. And this is the job search tool that I like to use for Thunder Bay because it actually collects job posting from across the region and pulls them all into one location. So you can look by skill level, you can look by NOC code, you can look by keywords, and kind of see what's out there in Thunder Bay for jobs that may be in your skill set. I've provided here a list for you of the top in-demand professional occupations for January 2022. Again, I pulled this from the North Superior Workforce Planning Board job site. So these top 10, this means that there's been multiple postings, multiple recruitment efforts for these jobs in the past month. Nurses are very in demand in Thunder Bay. We have, many clinical care services. We have home care, people who go in and visit people in their home and help take care of them. And then we have the 2 hospitals, as well as other facilities, including long-term care facilities and things like that. So nurses are very in demand in Thunder Bay. Management jobs are very in demand. So anyone who has management experience would do very well in Thunder Bay. There are always jobs being posted in management. Financial services as well, the banks, auditors, accountants. We've got some accounting firms that are always recruiting for this region as well. Any type of service that's related to healthcare or social assistance is very in demand in Thunder Bay. So there's many people that reach out to me, many employers that reach out to me looking for people that have nursing, psychology, counseling, social service work, these types of working with people and helping them with problems, very in demand in Thunder Bay as well. Business development officers, marketing. We have a really large restaurant and food industry in Thunder Bay. There's many restaurants and there's new ones popping up all of the time. And they're always looking for cooks, chefs, managers to run those businesses. And then we have some advertising and marketing and public relations that come up every once in a while. So this list is actually quite long. I just pulled the top 10 for the month. So you can explore that. You can explore these in-demand jobs a little bit more by going to North Superior Workforce Planning Board website and connecting with your employment counselor at Canada InfoNet. So here's a sample of wages. This is the average wage that these types of positions receive in Thunder Bay. And as you can see, they're very well paid. And because the cost of living in Thunder Bay is lower than other areas, when you're comparing wages to, let's say, Toronto, it's important to take that into consideration, right? You may see the same job posted in Toronto with a higher wage, but the cost of living in Toronto is also higher. So take that into account when you're comparing wages, not just in Toronto, but across Canada when you're looking for where you want to go. Taking into consideration the cost of living and the wages is important. So these are our top employers in Thunder Bay. The Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Center is one of our hospitals. St. Joseph's Care Group operates that secondary hospital as well as many long-term care facilities. Always recruiting, Thunder Bay Regional always recruiting. Resolute Forest Products, that's the forest product manufacturing. They operate 3 mills in the region. A lot of in-demand positions in manufacturing. Lakehead University and Confederation College have excellent career pages. They're always looking for experts to be teaching or administrative staff or research staff. Our local municipality also has many job postings on their career page. So the City of Thunder Bay, which is where I work. Impala Canada is a large mining operation. And if you looked at their career page right now, they have many postings on there. They are actively recruiting. And Delico is a social assistance and healthcare organization who also has a large career page with many, many opportunities with them. So these are kind of the big, they staff hundreds of people. So that's why they're the major employers. So if you're interested in looking at those major employers, you can search for them on the internet, go to their career pages. They usually, I find that these organizations don't use alternate job posting sites. They typically post on their own websites, on their own career pages. So you'd have to specifically go and search for one of these employers and go to their career page if you're interested in looking at the opportunities with them. The last thing that I wanted to mention is the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot. So the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot is a permanent residence pathway. It's new to Thunder Bay. We've been operating since November of 2019, and I oversee this program here for our community, where we are recruiting newcomers to live in Thunder Bay. We have been very successful. Since we started, I believe that we have had 162 newcomers to Thunder Bay get full-time permanent jobs. And then with their families included, everybody gets permanent residence. And to date, that's about 358 immigrants to Thunder Bay just through this program. It's a very, very special program, and it matches immigrants with in-demand professions. So the people that are arriving in Thunder Bay, they're working in sectors that really need their skills and expertise. We work very closely with all of these candidates to integrate them into the community and create relationships with them and help welcome them to our community. And it's meeting Thunder Bay's economic needs as well as growing our population. So it's a really amazing program. So if you know anybody else who may be interested in Thunder Bay, if you have friends or family members who may be interested but don't have a permanent pathway yet, this program is available to people who are both in Canada already and outside of Canada. So this is my contact information and the Go to Thunder Bay website, which is the website for Thunder Bay. You can learn a lot more about our economic sectors, our immigration programs, and why Thunder Bay is an excellent choice for you to live in Canada. So thank you so much for your time. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have for me.
Okay, thank you, Emily. Thank you
Should
for
I
this
leave this
wonderful
slide up?
presentation. I will leave this one up so people can get the contact, and then eventually I'll switch to the Canada Infonet just so they also get the information that is there.
Sure.
So thank you so much for all this for this presentation. So much information there. I hope our participants could benefit a lot from that. We have some questions popping up. I'll ask people to continue to add their questions on the questions box. I'll just start with a point that I wanted to ask you to talk a little bit more about, Emily, which is you highlighted how Thunder Bay is a very entrepreneurial city, right? And the small and medium businesses that have so many job openings. And I think that's something really important to talk to newcomers because many job seekers who are new to the country, they come here and they're looking for the big organizations that they might already know, right? But we know that in Canada, small and medium organizations are actually the bulk of the job openings that we have. So if you can
Yes.
talk just a little bit more about that, what are the industries that small and medium organizations are predominant in and that people can look for? So just before we start asking specific questions from the audience.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely in my experience in Thunder Bay, I don't work a lot on the entrepreneurial side, but we've seen in Thunder Bay recently just like a boom in local retail, restaurants, and other types of services in Thunder Bay. Like we've had numerous, you know, like beer companies open up, right? Like the new manufacturing. We have a really successful hot sauce companies that have opened up. So like, you know, creating new foods and marketing them, and they're getting international attention. One of the ones you may have even seen it in your grocery store is Heartbeat hot sauce, which is, you know, that's homegrown in Thunder Bay. Like I went to high school with that girl, and they had an idea and they just moved it forward, right? So and they actually actively used the rural and northern immigration pilot to secure a hot sauce cook from Sri Lanka who came over with his family and now works there. But those are the types of industries, you know, really it's whatever your dream is. Thunder Bay's super supportive when it comes to that, but we do see a lot in retail goods and services, food manufacturing, or restaurants.
Amazing. Thank you.
Mhm.
And these are places, even if you're not looking to open a business yourself, these are the places to go look for a job, right? Because these are
Mhm.
growing, thriving
Yep.
companies that
Yep.
definitely need talent. Okay, so we have some questions from the audience, and some of them might be specific to an occupation. So feel free to let us know if you're not familiar with that specific field. So
Yeah,
someone's
I'll answer what
asking
I can.
about the opportunities for construction industry, especially for construction project managers or architects. We do see a lot of architects
Mhm.
in our program. So do you can you talk a little bit about that?
Construction managers, project managers, and construction laborers, and everything in between is very in demand in Thunder Bay. I
Mm-hmm.
think architects is not, it's not necessarily something that I see posted a lot, but I am familiar with some organizations who have recruited internationally for architects. So I'd have to dig into that a little bit more, but we have many, many construction companies, again, supporting mines, supporting new builds. We have housing development that's happening all the time. Construction is a big industry here and lots of jobs in that field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a high in demand field, right? Canada needs homes, we know that,
Mhm.
and growing city like Thunder Bay for sure. Someone's asking a more general question about eligibility to apply for jobs. Like if you would know an average of education, English level, like the person's asking about IELTS, which is a specific
Mm,
test. I
mhm.
wouldn't think that employers will ask for specific proficiency test, but from your experience, what are the minimum requirements?
Yeah, I think that it depends on the industry. Um, in healthcare, I do think that they have a higher expectation of language skills
Mhm,
because you're working with a lot of the times the elderly, and you're working in large staff teams, and there's a high level of technical language that needs to be communicated amongst the staff and the team. So they are looking for a higher level of not education, obviously education too, but with language. But many employers that I speak to who recruit internationally focus on the skills. You know, sometimes I'll get a phone call and they'll say, we've got this guy, his language level is maybe low, but he's really, really good at what he does, and we're very interested in trying to get him here. So that's more my experience when it comes to Thunder Bay employers who are interested in hiring internationally, or are interested in recruiting somebody from outside of Thunder Bay, not just internationally. They really emphasize the skill set, and depending on the job, language will come with it, right? Like
mhm.
language will be learned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something that we work with our participants in the program as well, right? Showcasing your skills. And that's really important to understand what that job needs. Of course, if you're going to be talking to the public all the time
Right.
or doing some type of presentation, your language skills will be more.
Yes.
Uh, you need more language skills, right? And it's important to showcase that and tell your story to that
Mhm.
possible employer.
Mhm.
Um, Someone's asking about the possibility of getting a job before arriving in Canada. So many of our participants are outside of Canada.
Mhm.
This person specifically is in healthcare. But overall, do you, from your experience, do you think employers are open to the possibility of hiring pre-arrival, meaning people who already have
Yep.
their permanent visas, right?
So I do think that as the labor demand grows in Thunder Bay, employers are starting to look outside of Thunder Bay to get people here, and I that is my job. So my perspective may be skewed, but I get phone calls every day asking, hey, I found somebody in Chile, or I found somebody in you know India who has the skills that I'm looking for. Like, what can I do to get them here? So in my experience, employers in Thunder Bay are definitely open. Um, they're even more open to it if they know that you legally will be able to work in Canada once you arrive. And that's a unique thing about the situation that everyone is in here, is that they will be authorized to work as soon as they enter. And the employer doesn't have to form a temporary foreign worker relationship with them. So that's something that can be communicated to employers right away, saying, I'm authorized to work as soon as I enter. So I do think employers are open to that increasingly in Thunder Bay.
Yeah, yeah, I see that if they're open to even going through the process of sponsoring someone, having someone who already has a visa approved is definitely
It's
going to save
preferable,
them,
yeah.
right? It's going to save them money, it's going to save them time. So
Yeah.
definitely tell that story. There's someone here asking about the prospect for a veterinarian in Thunder Bay, and I wanted to ask that question because I know we had that conversation.
Yes, we need veterinarians so much. We are desperate for veterinarians. We have quite a few veterinary clinics. And we have, several veterinarians that are here, but the demand is much higher.
Hmm.
And so I believe that I was talking with our health sciences recruiter, and I believe that there is a pathway to start as a veterinary technician while you're becoming licensed to become a vet,
Hmm.
because there's licensing requirements for practicing veterinary medicine in Canada. But there is a pathway, and veterinary techs are also in demand. So it's a kind of a great foot in the door into the practice. So yes, there is a great need here in Thunder Bay.
That's great to know because these folks in regulated professions, this is definitely something that they need to look at, right? Because it can take
Mhm.
time for you to become, if you are an internationally trained veterinarian, it can take some time for you to get your license in Canada.
Yeah.
So knowing that an employer, that there's a need for techs or
Mhm.
assistance, that you
Yeah.
can start working in the field without having a license, it's definitely a huge selling point,
Yeah.
let's say,
We
for a
do
new
see
talent.
we do see those postings a lot. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Let me take a look. There's a lot of questions that are very specific. So I would say we're not going to be able to ask all of these, like this person has this background, what are their chances?
Yeah.
Um, right? Like they,
I can never really say somebody's chances, right?
hmm.
That's kind of a hard thing to estimate.
Yeah.
One of the things that I find is that employment in Thunder Bay is really found by directly communicating with the employer. And I'm sure that the employment counselors with you can assist with that, right? Making those connections. So that's, or even connecting with the settlement services here. We have employment officers here that if you plan to come to Thunder Bay, they'll get you set up right away. We've got connector programs and things like that where employment matches can be made.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's hard for me to guess what your chances might be.
Exactly. And for anyone, actually, even your employment specialist, they cannot guess and tell you how long is it going to take or what are your
Yeah.
chances, right? But definitely what Emily is talking about is what we always talk about in the program of the importance of networking. And this is part of it, right? Reaching out to the employers, finding out, oh, this employer is connected with CEDC. So go through CEDC's website, take a look. They have a page for employers, right, Emily? Like, I think there's like a job board in the
Yeah, yeah.
website. Yeah, so take a look at who these employers are, try to connect with them, saying that you already know something, right? You know, you watched this webinar about Thunder Bay and you became interested, and that's a good opening to connect with those employers, right?
Hmm.
So we have to go and seek these connections that maybe in your home country you already had that from your whole life. Someone's asking a little bit more about taxes. You mentioned the energy tax. Are there other taxes that vary, or are they all the same throughout Ontario? So, for example, property tax, income tax, does this vary between Thunder Bay and other cities in Ontario?
So I don't know a whole lot about that, but yes, property taxes do vary across Ontario.
Mhm,
Property taxes in Thunder Bay are lower than in other areas. You know, it's it's very dependent on where you're purchasing the home, where the home's located. Um, so yeah, so you can actually look like typically when you're browsing home listings, it will show the property tax in the listing. So you can see, like I didn't include it in that listing that I showed you,
mhm,
but you would be able to see property taxes for the year $2,000 or something. Compared to a home in Toronto, it would show property taxes, which I would assume would be higher.
mhm.
Um, so and then income tax is that's I don't think that that varies by municipality. That's a provincial um,
Yeah,
thing. So it
slash
would be
federal,
this,
I think.
yeah, and federal, yeah,
Yeah,
federal.
yeah. So our program is bilingual. So we have some French-speaking folks in the audience, and someone's asking about opportunities for people who speak French as well. So I don't know if this person speaks only French or French and English. So if you can
Right.
talk a little bit about the Francophone community or opportunities for French-speaking.
Yeah, we have a small Francophone community in Thunder Bay. We have a larger Francophone community in some of the communities outside of Thunder Bay. But Thunder Bay does have, I would say, a strong but small Francophone community and several Francophone employers that employ bilingual essential or French essential positions.
Mhm,
So, in fact, one of the targets with my rural and northern immigration pilot is to recruit bilingual or just Francophones for work in Thunder Bay because French language skills are a huge demand here. We also offer, as I said, in the schools, we have an entire French language school. So children can be educated in French only, or they can be educated in French immersion, which has a mix of English and French in it all the way up through high school.
mhm.
Um, so very large demand for French speaking, several jobs as well. Maybe in my after, I'm going to send you a link afterwards or a page with some links afterwards, and I can maybe highlight that feature uh, in that page for you if someone's
Okay.
interested. We do have a settlement agency that provides services to the French community, and they're amazing. So
That's awesome. So this participant actually answered saying they are bilingual, so speak English and French, and they're in employment and recruitment, like in employment counseling and recruitment. So if they need to recruit people that speak French, I would imagine they would also really benefit from a bilingual recruiter, for example,
yes,
right?
definitely.
Yeah. So that sounds great. Thank you so much, Emily. We do have a couple of minutes left, so I will ask one more question from the audience. Someone's asking about nonprofit organizations in Thunder Bay. So, how's the nonprofit scenario since you work in the field and um, for in terms of employment?
I mean, so there are some positions that come up. We don't have necessarily a whole lot of large scale nonprofits in Thunder Bay. You're going to see smaller ones. a lot of community service type roles and things like that. You know, we have the United Way that's often recruiting for staff there, or other charities related to, you know, health or social service needs.
Mm-hmm.
So my nonprofit experience has been all related to, well, I worked at the student union, um, and I worked for a policy think tank. You know, they all have charitable status. Um, but yeah, it's not a big industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. Thank you. Thank you so much, Emily. Is there anything else that you want to add, or any resources for all? We have a lot of questions of what about this field? What about that? What about,
Mhm.
so we don't have time to cover. Where would you say that people should go look at?
I would say the best starting point that is going to link you to other things to explore is our gotothunder.bay.ca website.
Okay.
That's for the Thunder Bay CEDC where I work. And you get to see a little bit more about all of the things that I've talked about here today.
Awesome. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. So for all of
been a
those who
pleasure.
did not get your specific questions answered, do go to the Go to Thunder Bay website to check it out and do your research, connect with people to ask your specific questions, and with your employment counselors at Canada Infonet, who can also help you connect. Thank you so much, Emily, for
Thank
sharing
you
all
so
this great
much.
information.
Good luck, everybody.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.